Lesson 2.5, Solid Modeling. In this lesson you're going to learn how to use solid modeling to create more complex models. You're going to learn how to use Add Solid, you'll learn how to use Subtract Solid, you'll learn how to use Intersect Solid, and you'll learn how to use automatic working planes. Well, let's get into Vectorworks and play with those 3D things. Let's get into Vectorworks. In this lesson, we want to learn about taking simple 3D shapes that we've created and joining them together to make a more complex shape. We can add volumes together, we can subtract volumes, or we can find the intersection of volumes. I've got an exercise here with two 3D shapes. This is exercise 2.5. Remember, go back to the first lesson if you haven't got your exercise folder and download the exercises. You will need them. So I've got these two shapes. Right click on one of them and add solids. Remember to go to the edge of it. Just let's review that. Remember the cursor changes shape, not like that, but when it changes shape. Right click, add solids, and it joins them together to make a solid addition. So here you can see it's a solid addition object. Vectorworks remembers the history of these objects, and if you double click you will see the two original shapes that you used to create it. So if you move those and then exit your solid addition, it will change the shape of that object. I'm just going to undo that, and exit my solid object. Undo that, and undo that, and undo that again. So I need those two shapes back together. Right click, let's try subtract solids. So it takes one away from the other. Now the question with this dialog box is, which one should I be left behind with? We can use these arrows to change which one's left behind. That's the circle or the cylinder left behind. That's the other shape left behind. Click OK, and it takes one away from the other. And if I render that view, you can see I can look right through it. I'm going to undo that and undo that again. And the final one I wanted to show you is right click and intersect solids, where it forms the intersection of those two volumes. It's another quite cool trick one to use. So let's delete that because I'd like to show you how we can use what we've just learned along with automatic working planes. Let's go back to my circle tool. I've got automatic working plane. So I can find this plane here, click, create a shape, click, and I can pull that shape through the other object. And the trick here is just before you click, put your finger on the Option or the Alt key, and it turns that object into either a solid addition or a solid subtraction. Let me do that again. Click here, pull that through to that point, Alt key, and it subtracts. Now if you do the same thing but pull it away from the face, put your finger on the Alt key, click, it becomes a solid addition. So this is a very quick way to use the solid addition and solid subtraction. So remember, if you're coming away from the face, it's a solid addition. If you're going into the face, it's a solid subtraction. So let's just go into the face a little bit. So we'll just go in just a tiny amount, Alt key or the Option key, click, and let's render that and see what it looks like. And there you can see all my rather strange objects. In lesson 2.5 you learned how to use simple modeling to create more complex models. You learned how to use Add Solid, you learned how to use Subtract Solid, you learned how to use Intersect Solid, and you learned how to use automatic working planes.